It flows through green forests, dry canyons, and fertile farmland. No one can stop its relentless drive to join the ocean. Dams cannot stop it. Water continues to flow in the never-ending cycle that is essential for all living things. This program is the story of the Lower Flathead River and the honoring, which has become an important part of spring on the Flathead Indian Reservation.
The river honoring provides an opportunity for people to share with young people. For some of the children that come through, this is their only opportunity to come out into a setting like this. The families don't do as much camping as we used to. And so this is the only opportunity to see and to be involved with the ticks and the wind and the rain and whatever else comes along. And so it's important to be able to still do that, to be in touch with nature.
Well, I think one of the most important thing about it is that it's active and hands-on, and the kids get a chance to go out there and experience all the different stations and different learning and get out of the school.
I think the river honoring is well worth the time for the teachers and the students because it emphasizes everything we're trying to teach in our sciences, particularly animals and birds, and I think it should carry on. The children really look forward to it. It's one of their favorite things to do.
I don't think we give our kids enough chance to learn about the cultural in an authentic sense and get out of the classroom for the field trip experience type of learning.
I think, we've never had a bad experience down at the river's honoring. And it seems like the kids know some of the presenters down there and a lot of times they'll know the elders and really have a connection there. And they just have a good time, and I think they learn a lot from the presentations that we get down there too.
When we came back and we did some writing, the kids were able to send their writing into this Indigenous Network publication that a friend of mine puts out. Some of the students have written, "I think honoring a river is cool. It is the only river being honored on the west side of the Continental Divide. I think honoring a river is unique. Besides, it helped kids learn a lot too." And another student writes, "What does river honoring mean to me? It means where birds can fly and fish can swim through their streams, where people can hear the stream ripple, where people can live and animal houses are on the banks of the stream." One of them reads like this: "The river honoring means to respect the river for all it does to help the Indian people and other cultures. When people go fishing and boating in the river, you have to respect that the river is letting your boat in it and the river giving you the fish. I hope all people respect the river."
With the variety of activities that they've got down there, I think it's just a real good experience for them to see the different departments that the tribe has, what the different departments are doing with the tribes, and how that affects not only the environment but the people on the reservation as well.
Well, I believe that the educational value of the river honoring is just the experience that the students, the teachers, and the presenters all gain from being out in this environment, because this is such a beautiful setting.
The river honoring has been an opportunity for adults and children to share together in a setting that is unlike school, and an opportunity for exchanges that don't happen in other settings.
I think the value for the presenters is just watching the kids, watching them grow, and then I think that reinforces how important their jobs are.
Children have different ways of learning, and they know that there's children that learn by listening, children that learn by seeing, children that learn by more physically engaging. And the majority of people aren't the people that just learn by listening. And so I don't think it can be overstated enough how important hands-on, this kind of a visual aid of coming out into the field.
It's just a really good feeling for a teacher because you know the work that's gone into it, you know how comprehensive it is, and the kids just kind of rise to the occasion with their behavior, so it's really neat to see your kids in a different light too, other than the classroom.
We learn respect as early in life, we get a hold of it and we hang on to it. I will respect you, but you in turn must respect me. That's the way we see it, you know. That's why we look at Mother Earth. Mother, we're going to respect you, you know. As you're my provider, that you're the one that caused me to live. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't exist.
I think about it, how wonderful that the country is, because there's so many Indians that live there.
And the river also produces a lot of not only the fish and used as the highway, but it also produce a lot of the food and medicinal plants that Indian people have used throughout the years. And that's very important. Medicinal plants are very important. It's just like, I guess it's just looking at the drugstore we have today.
The biggest reward is seeing the smiles on the students' faces. When we see them these 3 days that they're down here, it brings joy to my heart. I enjoy kids, especially the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade level. They're very, I guess those students want to learn. They want to be outside. They're asking questions. Geez, I remember when I presented, you'd get about 20 questions in the first 2 minutes, and just seeing the smiles on their faces is a reward to me.
A lot of resource specialists need to be reminded that, you know, nature will take care of itself, and really what we're managing is people. And natural resource management is really people management. And so I think that they'll see over time that it is a direct benefit to them and their workload, is if they can teach young kids how to appropriately graze rangelands, or how to treat riparian areas, or how to treat fish and wildlife resources, game species, and how to go camping correctly, and good ethics and good etiquette. It'll cost them less money in the future. Problems will diminish.
Go down with an open mind. Go down with some questions. Go down with some ideas of how you might use that.
There have been many attempts through the 1950s, 60s, and 70s to build dams on the lower Flathead River. Many individuals and organizations have fought to keep the lower river free flowing. People like Barehead Swaney, Lucille Otter, Clarence Woodcock, David Rockwell, Joe McDonald, and others organized the earliest incarnations of a river honoring. The river honoring originally occurred in the fall. The event was moved to the spring in order to better accommodate the attendance of students from Flathead Reservation schools.
This program is broadened from the original program of just fighting dams to doing the appropriate stewardship to this landscape that it deserves, and recovering and restoring the river ecosystem.
Prior to the year 2000 river honoring, vandals heavily damaged the river site. A new site had to be found in order for the land to have a chance to heal.
This year with the vandalism has had a big impact on all the schools getting together. Parents, some of the parents that I talked with felt that their kids were part of that vandalism, and so they were really instrumental in putting people together to come down and help clean it up.
The river, important. If we were standing right there looking at it, the river flowing and its beauty going down. And if we were standing right there and we took and we looked toward the east, toward the mountains, we looked pretty high up there where the snow kind of brings in, and if we can imagine the little springs that's coming out of the mountains, and it flows down and makes a little creek coming down, trickles, and then all of a sudden other little creeks come into it and it gets a little bigger. It comes on down and comes over a waterfall, kind of nice, pretty, purifying the water. Goes into a lake, makes a nice little lake, comes out of there, and eventually comes into that river to where we're standing at and just passes by. And we follow it and looking at it going down the river. Going down, other rivers coming in, other creeks coming in, and it gets bigger and bigger, going into another big lake, and all of a sudden it gets into a bigger river, and all of a sudden it goes all the way out into the ocean. And it goes out, and all of a sudden it forms up some clouds, some mist, and it goes up and it comes back through and it follows over back to those mountains again. Rains on them, and here it starts all over again, going through.
My tribe, I'm not Salish, I'm Ponderay. The Indian word for that is Katkumstin. That means the people of the water. My people lived along the rivers and along the lake before that upper part before it became a big lake. But that's where we lived. And we traveled by water. And the water to us is a life source. You know, we look at 3 elements. As Indian people, we've had this for thousands of years, I guess. There's 3 elements that we look to. And one of those elements are water, is a life source. The earth, Mother Earth, is a life source. And the air. And the Indian word is sinaut, wind. We need all 3 of these for survival. So, as Indian people, we are highly spiritual. So it takes that 4th element to make these other 3 work.
The significance that the river has on the Salish Ponderay culture, I think, is if you look at the river today, we see it as a place that we can go fishing, we can go hunting, or we can swim. But it was also in the past that was used as a highway, a main highway for the Upper Ponderay people to use that river and go downstream to the Lower Ponderay, which were relatives of and family of here. So, and a lot of the tribes in the area used the river as a highway.
The river's really a special thing. When I go across the river, when I cross Sloan's or Buffalo Bridge, I always think about the places, you know. That's a spot, like I said. That's a place there, you know, that's got a history, you know. This is where I used to go. This is where my grandfathers used to go. I used to hunt across those mountains over there. This is where I used to fish, you know. This is where we used to do a lot of things, you know. That's history there, you know. It's not just a river that just lays there, you know. It's a lot of history there, and a lot of water comes through there, you know. And people, you know.
I think the value of this is letting people know the importance that the river played in our lives thousands of years ago has not changed to today. You know, we look different, we dress different, we talk different, but the value of that river to us is still the same.
Important to me because that's what makes life worth living, I guess, to me. I hope everybody takes good care of it. Don't let anybody put anything in there to poison the fish, and keep it clean.
The water itself is the milk of the Mother Earth, you know, to keep it clean. This is what feeds everything. Everything has to survive on water. I like what the Nez Perce and Yakima people do when they have their big feasts. Always a little cup of water for everyone. Nobody eats or nothing. Nobody, when they sit down, that water comes first. Just that little drink of water of thank yous. And if everybody really looked at it, you know, and this is our livelihood.